video. We're good. All right. In 3, 2, 1.
You missed that putt again. You probably don't have enough time to practice. You can have more time to practice your putting with the Potty Putter, the amazing new toilet time golf game that lets you practice your putting on the potty.
Well, it's a well-run campaign. Midget and broom and whatnot.
The Morning Stream. I can't just give you new irises.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to TMS. It's the morning stream for Tuesday, February 7th, 2023. I'm Scott Johnson. That's Brian Ibbett. Hi, Brian.
Oh, hello, Scott. How are you? Happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you as well. I got to ask you a question. Have you noticed in the last couple of days that my voice has sounded any different than usual?
It's a little more feminine, but I wasn't going to say anything. And
oh, dang, I was not.
All the people, everybody's been saying it. I just, didn't want to mention it.
Yeah, you didn't want to bring it up. Didn't want to make it. You don't want to stir the pot. I get it.
That's right. No, I didn't notice.
I did some very basic sort of recalibration of mixer and mic.
Did you use the that Adobe software thing that?
Oh no! That thing sucks for what we do because we have too much other stuff going on. That
Gotcha.
thing, I figured out the use case for that Adobe thing. It's good for. I recorded a thing on my phone and it was in an echoey garage or something.
Oh no, not that. There was a thing that. Am I completely remembering something different? There was a tool that helps you get your settings correct.
Oh no, you're thinking of the tool. Okay, so there's another tool on there that's
not
called
Adobe,
Mic.
Not Adobe, then, right?
Well, it's
Somebody
Adobe,
else.
but it's called Mic Check, and
that's it. Yeah.
It lets you. It tells you whether your mic's on all the good ranges and stuff. But that wasn't even that. What happened to me was I was listening to Film Sack. Just went back and listened. Right.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a little bit of inside baseball, everybody. I'm listening to the old shows, and I'm
You
not
listen to our shows
sometimes,
Crazy.
not
All
always,
right,
but occasionally. Usually, it's just to like say, how does everybody sound? Should I text Randy and say, hey, your mic's a little on the fuzzy side, or these kind of things.
Sure.
So I'll do that occasionally. And I did this the other day, and I realized listening to myself that I was just a little bit on the robot register, just like a little too modulated or something. And I couldn't figure out why I was and nobody else was. And so I started fiddling.
I just started working here. I'm not trained to use the robot register.
Don't worry. We'll have you clean him back, and then later you can come up front and learn how to use that.
Great. Okay.
Anyway, so I decided to do this thing they call... Oh, now I forgot the name, but basically there's a name for this. Audio people know it. It's you stage this mixer staging or something like that. But basically just means kind of get back to a reset of where all your basics are and then kind of tweak it out to where it fits your voice the best. And I think I'm there, but it took a couple of days. So I probably sounded a little tinny the other day. Or yesterday, maybe, to some people. Maybe it doesn't come across on Discord, but
It might. Yeah, it might. Discord might not have. But I mean, you obviously use the same microphone for Discord that you use for the recording. But,
yeah, it's the same deal.
No,
But
I didn't. You didn't.
Okay, Claire got it. Gain staging.
Gain staging.
Yeah, which is not.
Is it a detergent thing? Gain staging?
It's what Christian Bale had to do before he became what's his name, Dick Cheney. He had to gain stage. No,
wow,
it's literally like, hey, put your gain in neutral, put all your other stuff down, and then work your way to a place you like. And
that's good because then you don't get that hum that from people who just crank up their gain.
Yeah,
you get a lot of hum, and this is a good way to avoid that.
Yeah, chat says I sound better today, but a little nasally. I'm not nasally at all. I just think the way I have it set up, I don't know. I'll keep tweaking, is what I'm saying. All right.
Yeah.
I'll keep at it. All right, let's get to some stuff. Brian, I brought a movie quiz for you today because you're always quizzing me. Damn it, it's time to quiz you. Okay?
Sounds good. Let's find out how little Brian knows about movies.
That's right. Now, the way this one works is I'm going to give you a series of, we'll see how many we get through. There's like 50 here. We don't have to do all 50.
All right.
But they're a series of quotes, and your job is to attribute them to what film.
Okay,
right?
Gotcha. All right.
Now, some of these, we're going to start easy.
Sure.
And then we'll work into some that are a little bit harder. Maybe none of them are. I don't know. Actually, the more I look at these.
Your father fought in the Star Wars. He wanted you to have the Star Wars lightsaber, Luke.
Right. That's
No, not that easy. Okay.
Some
all
of
right.
these are that easy. Okay. Some of them. In fact,
Sure.
number 1 starts right in that zone. So the goal here is speed, not so much accuracy, but speed. Well, accuracy matters, but because
Sure.
these are
How
relatively
quickly I can
easy.
get
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you're going to have to go, oh, yeah, boom, 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 boom. Okay?
Sure.
If you get them right, if you get them wrong, I'm not actually keeping track here.
Okay.
Someone in the chat want to keep track of Brian's performance. That's up to you. All right.
All right.
So let's start with this one. May the Force be with you.
Well, that would be Star Wars, A New Hope, Episode 4, if we want to get
If you want to get crazy with it, you want to get jiggy with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Number 2, there's no place like home.
That'd be your Wizard of Oz.
Nice. I'm the king of the world.
That'd be Titanic.
Nice. Carpe diem. Seize the day, boys. Make your lives
That's
extraordinary.
What's your Goodwill Hunting? No, that's the other one. Robin Williams. Oh my God, why am I blanking on this? It's Captain, my captain, stand on the desk.
Yep. You're getting there.
Oh, geez. Oh my God, why am I blanking on the name of this?
Nobody say in the chat or don't.
I'm not even looking at the chat.
Yeah.
Robin Williams, he's a teacher, inspires his students. Stand on your desks, you dumb kids, he says in another line in the movie.
Yep. Get on those desks.
You screw it. I've already blown this time-wise, so what is it?
Dead Poet Society.
Dead Poet Society, damn it.
Yeah, it's all good. All right, number 5.
Jesus.
Elementary, my dear Watson.
Well, that's any of the Sherlock. You want me to go Hound of the Baskervilles or?
I'm going to give that. I'm going to give it to you
Sherlock
because
Holmes,
I'll give it to you. They're
Yeah.
saying it the very first appearance was The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes in 39, but I'll give it to you because you're absolutely right.
Sure. Yeah.
It's alive. It's alive.
It's alive. That's Frankenstein.
Correct. My mama always said life was like a box of
That's
chocolates.
Forrest Gump.
All right, nicely done. I'll be back.
Terminator.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I was waiting for this one. Jaws.
Here's looking at you, kid.
That's Casablanca.
Nice. My precious.
That'd be Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Houston, we have a problem.
Apollo 13.
I was hoping to get the number wrong. Dang it. All right.
I know.
There's no
I never saw the first 12.
There's no crying in baseball.
That's a league of their own.
Good Lord, you're killing it. E.T. phone home. Oh, my Lord.
Come on now. That'd be E.T.
That's really-
colon the extraterrestrial.
Yeah, that's really literally on here. That's so
E.T.'s
stupid.
colon, yeah.
You can't handle the truth.
That'd be A Few Good Men.
A martini shaken, not stirred. Oh, my Lord.
First uttered in Dr. No, I believe.
It says here, well, if this is correct, Goldfinger was the first time, but you knew it was James
Oh, really?
Bond. We'll count it.
Yeah, yeah.
They claim that. I don't know if that's true, but they
It
claim
might be, you know what, don't know if he ordered martini in Dr. No. That was the first James Bond movie, but I'm not sure if he ordered martini. Okay.
Now things get a little
All right, good.
weird here.
Now we're stepping it up.
Yeah.
All right, good.
Check this one. Life is a banquet, and most poor suckers are starving to death.
Ooh, that sounds like a Scorsese line. I'm going to say Goodfellas.
It is 1958's Auntie Mame. Auntie Mamie.
Oh, Auntie Mame.
Mame.
Yes.
Is that it? Never heard it. Saw it.
Mammy, how I love you. How I love you. Auntie Mame. Okay.
All right. If you build it, they will come. Duh.
That'd be your Field of Dreams.
Yep. The stuff dreams are made of.
That's it. That's the line. The
Yep.
stuff dreams are made of.
I actually knew this one, but only because I'd seen it in the last couple
wow.
of years.
Wow.
And I'll give the hint is it's
Son
old.
of Flubber.
Let's see if that's correct. Is it correct? No. It is the Maltese Falcon, 1941.
Oh, I've never seen it. I need to see that.
You should.
I need
It's
to
very
brush
good.
up on my Bogart. Yeah.
It's one of the best
Sam Spade.
noir deals ever. Magic mirror on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all?
That'd be your Sleeping Beauty.
Ooh.
Cinderella?
Snow White and the
Cinderella.
Seven Dwarfs.
Snow White. Damn
Yeah.
it. I knew it was
You were in
witch
there.
adjacent.
You were in the zone. All right. Here's
That's right, of course. Yeah.
keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
Oh, damn it. That one feels like
It's a tricky one.
about 1,000 movies. Yeah. Let's go Goodfellas on that one.
Nope. He was friends with Scorsese. But anyway, Godfather Part 2, 1974.
Godfather. Shoot. Yeah. Okay.
I am your father.
That'd be your Empire Strikes Back.
Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming.
Yep.
Oh, is that The Abyss?
Let's find out. Whoops, sorry. I didn't mean to hit both. It is Finding Nemo, 2003.
Oh, Nemo, sure. A lot of people in chat room got that one. Yeah.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Well, I mean, that's Jackie. No, not Jackie Robinson. That was the guy with. It was Lou Gehrig said it, and the film was called. Oh shoot! It was.
So far, you're 100% correct.
Yes, Lou Gehrig, the man and the myth. No, I can't remember the name of the film.
.com. It's The Pride of the Yankees,
Pride of the
1942.
Yankees. Look at this. Oh, Red Fraggle killing it with this one.
She's smart. You is kind. You is smart. You is important.
Oh shit.
And this is relatively newish.
It is, yeah. I mean, compared to the other ones, and it's like Precious, based on the novel Sapphire by Push or something, whatever. Based on the novel Push.
You're totally right. It's one of those for sure.
I can't remember. Blindside? No. What is that?
You give up?
I give up, yeah.
It is The Help, 2011. The Help.
Oh, I've never seen that. I need to see that.
I haven't either, but it's but it is one of those.
Pie.
Who's the guy? It's Help by it's got one of those names like you said.
Oh,
though.
is it like the title says the novel in it or
like
something?
Tyler
really?
Perry's The Help or something.
Good Dia's Help.
I cannot remember for the life of me. All right, eighth fart.
right.
Oh, chat's counting farts. That's a fantastic
That's all
idea.
right. Well, they're also keeping track of my score, I think.
Oh,
They
good.
just
Well,
had to update that one. 17, I think, is the last one.
That's a great way to do it because if you just count farts, then you minus that from 50 when we're done. See, that'd be easy.
There we go. Yeah.
What we've got here is a failure to communicate.
That is Cool Hand Luke.
Very well done. Hasta la vista, baby.
That'd be your Terminator 2.
Oh, very good. I jumped the gun, but you are correct.
You did, yes.
You don't understand. I could have had class. I could have been a contender. I could have been somebody instead of a bum.
On the waterfront.
Nicely done. Bond, James Bond. Where did that first get?
Okay, that's Dr. No. Was definitely the first one.
You are correct. Nicely done. You talking to me?
That would be Taxi Driver.
Nice. Roads. Where we're going, we don't need roads.
We don't need roads. The very end of Back to the Future.
Very good. That'll do, pig. That'll do.
The Babe.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
Next to Fury Road's my favorite. My favorite movie he made. I read that's the truth, by the way.
Oh, I totally believe that.
Yeah, I love that movie. All right, I'm walking here.
That's it's the Dustin Hoffman not Electric Cowboy. It is Midnight Cowboy.
There you go. Electric Cowboy.
First Electric Cowboy. First X-rated Oscar winner or something like that.
I think so, yeah. By those standards, that thing would have been like PG-13 today.
Easily, yeah, exactly.
So weird. It was Beauty killed the Beast.
King of the Kong.
Very nicely done. Stella, hey Stella.
Stella, Streetcar Named Desire.
Nicely done. You're killing it. As if.
That's it? That's all I get?
That's it. As if.
Is that Mean Girls?
Oh, you're in the range.
Oh no, it's Clueless.
There you go. I'll give it to you.
Yeah,
I'll give it to you.
It is.
It's one of these '90s era deals.
Yeah.
Here's Johnny.
That'd be your Shining.
Rosebud.
That was your Citizen Kane.
I'll have what she's having.
When Harry Met Sally.
Nicely done. Inconceivable.
Princess Bride.
All right, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-up.
Oh shit! Betty Davis said that, I believe.
You are correct.
All About Eve.
Incorrect. Sunset Boulevard, 1950, and it may have been.
That was not Betty Davis. That was
it's
Rita Hayworth.
One of those ladies.
Yeah.
Of that area.
Oh, Gloria
Stein.
No, not Gloria Steinem. Gloria.
Joan Crawford.
Swanson.
Swanson. Okay.
Yes.
Here's one. Fasten your seatbelts. It's going to be a bumpy ride.
Oh, that is Betty Davis, and that is.
You said it before.
Is that All About Eve?
You are correct. Nicely done.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
That'd be your Dirty Dancing.
Well, you know what's funny about Nobody Puts Baby in a Corner? I always get that confused thinking that's from the boxing movie with Clint Eastwood and the Karate Kid lady.
$1 Million Baby.
Yeah.
Nobody puts $1 Million Baby in the corner except
Every
when
time.
she's about to start boxing.
Every time. If you put me on a stage and put me under the lights and said, which movie did it come from? I'd probably freeze.
It's funny because it kind of makes sense, right? The movie's called $1 Million Baby, and she starts out in the corner for every boxing match.
Yeah, I think that's what I did. I physically put her in the corner. All right. Well, nobody's perfect.
Oh, geez. Okay.
Yeah, how do you get that? That's a hard one.
I think that's another. Is that another Bogart? It's another something like that. Shoot, maybe not Bogart, but well, nobody's perfect. I feel like 100 movies, 1,000 movies have had that line in there.
Yeah,
but,
since then anyway.
It's an old thing. It is, and I think it's the last line of the film. Odd Couple, Jack Lemmon, maybe.
Let's find out. Some Like It Hot, 1959.
Some Like It Hot, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Roughly the right era.
Yeah, you're in the zone. Just different title. Snap Out of It.
Oh, that's Moonstruck.
Nicely done. I almost felt like Cher when I did it. Here's a dumb one. You Had Me at Hello.
It's your Jerry Maguire.
Nicely done. Just show me the money. Okay, they have. See, they may take our lives, but they'll never take our
They'll
freedom.
never take our freedom. Braveheart.
Love that movie. To Infinity and Beyond.
That'd be your Toy Story.
You're Killing Me, Smalls.
That's your Sandlot.
And finally, number 50, Toto. I have a feeling we're not in Kansas anymore.
Again with we're ending with Wizard of Oz.
I guess
Okay,
so.
all right.
All right, nicely done. Now, someone kept track there. What did we get? We got 40.
40 looks like.
41, I think.
41. Yeah. Okay, yeah, because of the delay.
41
all
out
right.
of 50 is not bad.
That's not bad. Nine misses. And Dead Poet Society I'm kicking myself for. Clearly I need to watch more old movies.
Yeah. But that's where one of those deals is where you said Good Will Hunting.
Yes.
I do that with those two movies all the time.
Yeah, you know what? And that's because they came out right around the same time. They're, it takes place in a classroom, inspirational, positive movie.
Yeah. Everything seems like it's sepia toned a little bit. It's all they're kind of the same vibe. Yeah. I feel you.
I think they're taking away half a point because of my Clueless, my stumble of Mean Girls into Clueless.
Oh, well, that's because there's 90s kids in here, and they think those movies are good. See, that's the problem. Yeah. They all think Clueless was a fine film, and they're wrong.
I think Clueless was a fine film too. Sure.
I don't know about that. It was okay.
And the source material, Emma.
Then you know what? If you guys think that's a good movie, then no one can ever make fun of me like an Encino Man again, because I love Encino Man. All right, and I know it's not a great film, but it's good. It's a good movie.
I watched a clip of that recently because somebody, oh God, what was there? Was somebody on there who makes like a cameo? Somebody who he's one of the nerds, like the chess club nerd or something, and he's a little bit part, but he's like somebody huge now. Shoot.
Oh, I don't know.
Paul Rudd. Dang it.
No, Paul Rudd's in there, but who else would that be?
Yeah, somebody help me out here. There was like I wonder if I can look
Paul Rudd was a threat even then, though, so I don't. Yeah.
It was. I mean, he was Clueless.
Yeah.
Great Clueless, but I mean, he was Clueless. Oh, Short Round. That's right. It was. Yeah, Ki Kwan. Oh, shoot, I'm messing up his name.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
But he
I didn't know
was.
that.
So there you get your two Best Actor nominees playing against each other in Encino Man.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah.
He's great. I like him.
Yeah, he is great. Awesome. Yeah.
Will it blow everyone's mind to know that I only saw Goonies once and I remember hardly anything from it?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Goonies is like, it's burned into people, and I'm like, I saw it one time, and it's not that I didn't like it.
That's one of those movies that if you would have put a gun to my head, I would have said we watched it on Film Sec, but apparently we didn't.
No.
So we need to now.
I think it was one of the pulled ones. I swear we always think we did a pulled one.
Yeah. I think that's right. I think that was the case. We led up to it so much, but like, all right, we're doing Goonies next week, and then yeah. Let's see. Let me take a look at Just Watch and see if Goonies is streaming anywhere. And you can currently watch Goonies on AMC Plus if you have AMC Plus, which I do, but that's not a.
Not a
do you have
common
AMC
one.
Plus?
No, but it's not as. You're right about it not being as common. I can probably lump that into something though, right? Prime or whatever. They have
you can. Well, you can rent it on Prime. You need to listen. I've been recommending stuff all over the board from AMC Plus because there's a lot of really good stuff on there, and obviously, you need to go back and watch if you haven't watched all Better Call Saul. You need to go do it. I
got to read that final season. I got to watch of that.
Yeah.
Show. Or
Yeah.
the
So, I
last,
mean,
sorry,
it's-
the last. I saw that first episode, and then I was like, I'm going to collect it all and binge it, and then I just haven't done
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, perfect.
Yeah.
Holy mackerel. You're
Yeah.
going to love it.
it. I have a lot. I love that show, but I just
So you
haven't
saw
done
the
it.
first episode of the final season, is
Yeah.
what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I was like, I don't want to wait every week. And then I was like, okay, fine. Let them
I'm
stack
not waiting
up.
every week for Last of Us. That one we're watching day and date.
Yeah, that one I can't avoid. Other than this week, I'm going to do them both on Friday. But other than that,
Yeah.
I'm pretty much week to week on that. All right, let's move on. Hey, whenever you invoke the name Paul Hollywood, I get excited.
Yes. So Tina's birthday yesterday. I told her I was going to make her a cake. I said, what kind would you like? She says, I don't know. And so I said, all right, how about if I make a Swiss roll, because I've never made one of those, and I'd like to try my hand at it. So what a Swiss roll is, you take you basically make a really light sponge. There's no butter in it. It is like whipped eggs that have been whipped into a frenzy with powdered sugar, not even granulated or not even castor sugar.
Yeah.
But
Wait, castor
powdered
sugar is like normal, like you'd think of as sugar, like
no, it's sugar that you dust onto things.
oh, like
basically.
powdered, like
Yeah, powdered sugar.
oh, okay. I've never heard of castor before. That name.
Castor sugar is your typical sugar.
Oh,
which
that's
is your,
okay. That's
like,
what I meant. Yeah. So
yeah,
castor is just the sugar you get out of a thing that looks like
out of
white
a
granulated
G&H
sugar.
bag of sugar. Yes,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Okay. Fair enough.
So I made the sponge, and you're supposed to kind of, while it's still warm and pliable, you fill it. You put your fillings on there. I did, even though it recommended or suggested jam, I wanted cherry pie filling.
Yeah.
Because we love the mix of cherries and whipped cream, and then a layer of whipped cream. And so what I did is I added some almond extract to the whipped cream to give it kind of a cherry almond flavor.
Yeah.
Which is just a great combination.
Sounds amazing.
The world, the earth here in Colorado is a little dry. It's a little dry, Scott.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as I was rolling it, we had a couple of cracks, so it turned into a Swiss fold as opposed to a Swiss roll.
Oh.
But it tastes amazing, but it doesn't look as good as it tastes.
Well, people, that's the problem. So Paul Hollywood would have said it tastes very good, but he would have a problem with your presentation. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, exactly. It looks like, when you have to fold an envelope into a letter into thirds to put it in an envelope, kind of like that, except your letter is full of whipped cream and cherries. I think the cherries also screwed me because they provided more lumps and variables for the cake to fold around, the sponge to fold around.
Yeah.
So, it's
It sounds fantastic, though, tasty wise.
I'll send you a photo.
Okay.
Once you cut the sides off, I mean, there's a definite spiral there. It's just like it's like if you didn't know how to use the spline tool in Illustrator and you tried to make a spiral.
Okay, now I get it, but now I
using
totally
just
get it.
line segments. Yeah.
How sad is it that I understand it way more now that you made it? You put it in my world, and I get it
Yes,
now.
exactly.
That's fantastic. All right. Well, we're gonna do some news today, and later. Here's the good news. Later, we got Bill. He makes things. He'll be on.
Sure.
Bobby, he does science things. He'll be on.
Sure.
And then even more. We got a voicemail later from Gary from Lantronics /Lot B
Lot B.
/ wherever he is now.
Retired. Well, I guess Batu.
Yeah.
Black Spire Outpost. Yes.
That's right. And he's got stuff to say. I guess he's still recovering from his second bout of COVID.
He is.
Yeah, which kind of sucks. But he took some time to call in and tell us a funny story. So we'll get to that all soon enough. But now, the news. It's time for the news, brought to you by
finding blood all over the porch and thinking it must be human, but figuring out it was just two stray cats fighting.
Yeah, so quick story. My daughter and wife, for some reason, have taken it upon themselves. I think I've talked about this before, but they want to keep feeding these stray cats that come around the house. And they don't ever come in the house. They just are outside. And one of them was pregnant once, had a bunch of kittens, and the kittens were lost. It was super sad.
Sure.
So we're always trying to just keep them alive, these two cats.
Sure.
We don't know who they belong to. They don't have collars. They're just strays. So we put a little bowl
Do they
out.
strut, by the way? Do they strut right by with their tail in the air?
One of them does, absolutely.
Okay.
And I think he's responsible for the bloodshed. So these two, what will happen is the strutty one will usually come around the back.
Yeah.
And the mama one, they call her Honey for some reason. I don't like that name, but she comes to the front. And once in a while, the twain shall meet. They'll both be in the front. And you'll hear, like total freak out outside, and we'll rush out there just to sort of break it up or whatever. And usually it's no problem. But the other day, it was so bad. When I went out the front door, there was like blood everywhere from these cats.
Oh, jeez.
And like, I mean, like dripping big globules, like Dex. You have to call Dexter and have him come do a full workup of the blood.
He's going to like connect little pieces of yarn to show where the blood spatter traveled from
Yeah,
the source.
yeah. Basically, we were doing it was that kind of CSI kind of thing, and I've not, and we haven't seen one of the cats in a while, so I'm a little worried.
Oh no. Okay.
So
Jeez.
anyway, that's what that's about.
Usually those things don't get so vicious that it ends in bloodshed. Usually, like one of them says, "All right, Uncle," and runs off. But
Not in this case.
Damn.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I'm worried that some FedEx dude or someone's going to come by and see this blood, which is really hard to get out in the cold. I can't scrub it out very well, so it's still
sure.
sort of there. So I don't know if people see that and go, a murder has taken place here or whatever.
And there's certain things you can't use to try and clean up because Gus Grissom will show up with his black light and say, "Oh, look at that! They had blood here, and they tried to clean it up with dishwashing liquid."
Oh yeah. Oh, you know what? I have a black light. I should take it out there. That could
Well,
be
it's
fun.
right now you can still see the blood.
Well,
can't
that's
you?
true, but I just kind of want to see what it looks like.
You want to see it glow? Yeah, sure.
I wonder where that is. Where is that? All right, later I'm doing that.
Cool.
And then that's the only place I'm taking it because I don't want to be freaked out by other weird things on things that I don't know about.
I know. Yeah, whatever you do, don't bring it to Vegas.
No,
Just
no. Leaving that home. Also, the dog barfed on my wife's comforter yesterday, so that was good.
Oh, on her comforter. Do you
Yeah.
guys have two separate comforters?
No, but it's funny you say that. I didn't realize my bias until I said it. I don't like the comforter because it makes me
Gotcha.
really
Too hot?
Too hot.
Yeah.
Even on cold nights, I feel like I'm sweating in there, so I hate that freaking thing. So I refer to it as her thing. So she says, "Your dog puked on my comforter." So that's why we've got that's how the ownership worked out. Anyway, let's move on to this
gross.
story.
Gross.
Michigan boy, age 6, spent $1,000 on Grubhub. Yeah, you don't want to give your kid the phone, I guess. Doorbell just kept ringing, cars kept coming, is the quote. The doorbell just kept ringing. A 6-year-old Michigan boy went on a wild $1,000 spending spree. He was like he was on a game show, it says here, using his father's Grubhub account, ordering large amounts of food from numerous area restaurants. The food piled up very quickly for Keith Stonehouse of Chesterfield Township in Metro Detroit on Saturday while he was home with his son, Mason, and with his wife, Kristen. They were away at the movies with some friends. Doesn't make sense.
All right.
Hold on. The wife and the husband are away.
I know.
Oh,
there's
okay.
his home alone with his son Mason, with his wife Kristen away at the movies with some friends. But it should be, they should have used while his wife Kristen was away at the movies with some friends because they do too many with his son Mason, with his wife Kristen away at the movies with some friends. There's so many with some.
Yeah, it's horribly written. It's terribly written. Yeah. I don't know what they were thinking there. Anyway, this is like something out of a Saturday Night Live skit, says Stonehouse, who says he still isn't laughing.
Okay. Which is much like a Saturday Night Live skit.
Yeah. This is like the last 3 skits on any SNL about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Update.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I was probably. Oh, did you see you saw the one with the Mario Kart?
Mario Kart, yeah.
Dude, that was next level stuff. That was so good.
Their pre-recorded stuff is fantastic. The stuff they do with the 3 writers, the pre-recorded bits with those guys is fantastic. The music videos they do, their pre-recorded game is on point.
I agree. I would watch that show. Like unironically, I would watch this Mario show with Pedro Pascal's the role of Mario.
Yes.
And when
These
he gruffly
mushrooms make me feel big.
when he turns to the camera when she pokes him and says, "I need your help," or "What's your name?" and he goes, "It's a me. It's a Mario." Like deadpan as you can say it. Joel voice, amazing.
Yeah. So good.
Anyway, there was something out of a Saturday Night Live skit. He says, "Okay, the next day I was at an 8, and now I am at about a 3. I don't really find it funny yet, but I can laugh with people a little bit. It's a lot of money, and it kind of came out of nowhere. So I guess he had to pay it. There's no like,
yeah, oh yeah,
yeah.
You can't say, "Oops, sorry. I know you made all this food, restaurants, but
yeah." That isn't
sending it back."
Yeah, you think DoorDash and Grubhub are expensive now? Wait till you order $1,000 worth of food. Ooh boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, the kid's what? How old did you say? 6 years old.
6.
Cut the kid a break. Don't give him your phone. How about that?
Yeah, exactly. Who's to blame here? The parent who didn't supervise their kid ordering food on Grubhub, or the kid? Well,
Yeah, and
it's
also
the one.
there's details missing. Like, did he order it all and then bing bong, bing bong, bing bong, and then they had their phone back by then, so they knew the damage was done and it was just rolling in at that point, or did they not know he was still ordering food when some food was arriving? Like,
Right. I'm curious as to how many different restaurants. I mean, this kid like just went down like like he's spending his winnings on the old Wheel of Fortune ceramic Dalmatian kind of thing. Like, oh, I'll take the shawarma for $75. I'll take the 4 large Big Macs for 18.
Yep. Just I feel like you're partially responsible there, Dad.
Yeah.
I hate to tell you this, 6-year-olds aren't supposed to be responsible, but you are.
Yeah. Ken from Chicago asked, how is the kid paying for the food? Well, he's paying for it because the app has the dad's credit card information connected to it. So all he has to do is just say, order it. Done.
Yeah. You don't have to. There's no pay at the door.
The kid doesn't have to enter the card every time or do anything like that. He's basically
no. Yeah. If I go use DoorDash right now for Taco Bell, it will
you don't
arrive.
All you need to do is just say, done. Purchase.
Yeah, parent. That's the whole thing. So it is the parent's fault. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's move to this story. Tylenol murder investigators order a new DNA test on key evidence from 1982. Now, the reason I put this story in here is because I just watched a documentary about this.
About
story.
this specific one.
Yeah. Now, you remember when we were kids.
Yeah.
82 was Brian and I were kids.
About 12, 13 years old.
13, yeah, whatever we were. And there was a huge freak out because basically people were dying from ingesting tampered with
Laced.
Tylenol.
Right.
And they were just buying Tylenol in the store, took it, and were dead within 10 minutes. And it was scary, of course. It was very few incidents. Like, it was only, let's see how many it even says here. Or maybe it doesn't. Anyway, the documentary I watched, it was like, it affected like 4 different families or something.
And this is like, people of a certain generation remember when Tylenol didn't have that protective foil seal on the bottle. You basically could go into the store and just open the bottle of Tylenol, and
it didn't even have like the hold down and turn and all that. Yeah, none of that stuff was there. There's a whole like an entire swath of federal legislation that came out of it.
Oh,
yeah, the cotton.
It was also a chunk of cotton. This is the
I
only
don't know if
thing
the cotton. Did
protecting
they
those.
add the cotton later, or was that already I don't know.
No, I think they already had it. Yeah.
But all that stuff came out of this story, and the worst part of the story was they never actually nailed down the dude or parties who did it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So it's an unsolved murder, bunch of murders, and the person they think did it is in jail for other things. And I think it is him after watching this documentary, but they didn't have any like proof in 82. He didn't have DNA. There's we had DNA, but we didn't have a way to check against it. All that stuff. So anyway, they're reopening it and doing DNA
cool.
tests. Yeah, and if that guy,
wow. So do they have the like bottles that they can see if he's touched, kind of thing?
I assume they probably still in some kind of deep storage evidence. They have the original bottles. Yeah. So, it might be. They'd have to be really. That stuff's so old now, right? Like,
right. I know.
Yeah, some reports say it could have been a Unabomber. They brought that up in the doc, but they it didn't match up that it was him. But I don't think it's him. I think it's this other dude whose name is not in this article. But anyway, it's a pretty intense story if you've never heard it. And there's 2 things going on. One, it was an actual tampering that led to deaths, but it was also created a panic that outsized the risk. It was ridiculous. Overkill panic, which is what we do around here in this country. So every time, or maybe other countries too, I don't want to leave you guys out, but we do this. We freak out about a thing that's actually
kids are
small.
Putting vodka in tampons and shoving them up their butts.
Right. Or there's razor blades in all of your Halloween candy, or whatever it is. Although I'm glad you went with the alcohol-soaked tampons in the butts.
Yeah. Well, because that one felt like the most egregious one most recently, right? Or the
yeah, it was pretty bad.
There's the current one, and the current one might be more widespread than we think, but it's like fentanyl-laced edibles, marijuana edibles.
Right. Or people putting their edibles in kids. This concept that people that have edibles, which are expensive.
Yeah.
and that are now putting them as a mean thing to do and putting it in kids' bags when they come around for Halloween is just utter bullshit. Nobody spends money on those edibles to then give them away.
Right. Yes.
Give me a freaking break. But anyway, that stuff happens all the time. NyQuil chicken, that's a recent one. Remember that?
Yep.
People
Oh,
cooking,
right. Yes.
cooking chicken in the NyQuil, eating Tide Pods. Like, all this stuff is just... We're so bad at memory. We're so bad at remembering how things were. I'm so fired up today because of this stupid Sam Smith thing about a song I can't even stand and about a performance I thought was annoying.
But the whole watch a video of this thing.
The whole world thinks that Satan's on his way and this was some kind of seance to bring him back. And I just look at everyone, I just want to look him in the face and go, are you freaking kidding me, you bunch of cavemen? What are you doing? I was here when Ozzy ate the head off a bat. I'm old enough to remember when Madonna and Britney Spears made out on stage while holding snakes.
Right.
I've been around long enough to these people that are making this claim now, they grew up with Marilyn Manson. Like, what are you talking about? Satanic Panic 2.0, baby.
I'm now looking at the devil horns top hat that Sam Smith wore, and oh jeez.
Do you remember Like a Prayer?
It's so comical. You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of Danny Elfman when he played as the devil in I think Forbidden Zone and did the Minnie the Moocher song. This is how comical devil it looks.
It's ridiculously stupid.
Yes.
And that the reason that they add additional meaning to it is because Pfizer was one of the sponsors of the Grammys as a whole, and they ran their title card after that performance. So when you have a performance and the camera zooms out and they show a Grammy statue and it says, "Tonight's Grammys brought to you in part by Coca-Cola. Get the cool taste of blah, blah, blah," and then they go to commercial. They did that with Pfizer, so people are linking the two and saying, "Oh, well, Sam Smith out there doing devil shit." And Pfizer, see? That proves the whole thing. Proves what, you dumbasses? You weirdos, you correlation. I just can't stand it. I can't stand it. I can't stand it. People were telling me about backmasking lyrics and freaking Paul's dead and all this bullshit. Old people suck. Quit listening to them. They really do. They don't have your best interests at heart. For real. They really don't. Oh, my Lord.
Yeah.
Anyway. Can I tell you this fun story that happened?
Yeah.
This is a quick one. As part of this, I had just said to, I can't remember what the reply was, but basically I just said, are you guys all acting like history never happened? And I was bringing up other examples and, Kiss and Wasp and, all this fake satanic panic stuff in the past. It's just no different. D&D, whatever. And this lady replies, and she says, "Are you developmentally challenged? Can't you read she goes, "Can't you read the writing on the wall?" And then she gives me a video of somebody taking the Pfizer logo, which is just the name Pfizer.
Yeah.
In that font they use.
Light blue future italic, I believe. Yes.
This person took all the letters, moved them around, they're trying to make an anagram. So they move it around, and then part of the P, they had to take the lid off the P, like the round part of the P. They brought it down. Anyway, at the end of it, they kind of spelled Lucifer, even though it was a Z for S. So that's what she sent me. And I said, and she had this name, her Twitter name was some jumble of letters. And so I wrote back and I said, I can do this too. I took out some of your letters and mixed them around, and it spells pedo. I said, look, I can play this incredibly stupid game too. And then I replied,
yes, exactly.
She blocked me immediately.
Good.
Me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the point is, like, I guess here's I need to get away from people. People suck. And I don't mean you guys, and I don't mean Brian, and I don't mean people I like and respect. I'm talking about the rest of these wackadoo sucker punchers that all suck big wiener donkey. I don't like them. I'm done with them. I'm finished talking to you people. All right? You're all freaking me the F out. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I found the Lucifer. Like, you have to, you take off the round part of the P, flip it down, move the Z, and that's not even how you spell Lucifer, by the way, people. And then you take off the chunk of the F, separate that. This is so ridiculous.
It's so dumb, dude. It's the dumbest thing. There it is. chat. Look at that. So the concept is, let me move this up so you can see the whole thing. But you have to really use your imagination to move this stuff around.
Exactly. You can do, like you said to her, you can actually do it with anything.
Yeah.
And you can make a lot of words out of the curves and straight lines that are used for the word Pfizer.
You wouldn't believe the shit I can make out of the name Brian Ibbett. It's insane.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
You know, or my name. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Doesn't matter who you are. It's so, I'm not going to do it, but it's so stupid.
Yeah.
And when people do this thing and want me to take it seriously, it makes me want to pour gas on it and burn it all down, you weirdos.
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
moving on. Tylenol. Anyway, they're reopening the deal.
I love the cold case aspect of this, though, for sure.
I do too. I like a good cold case. Feels like there aren't enough old 80s things getting dug up yet, but I like when they do that.
Yeah, sure.
All right, here's a fun one for you the Apple people. Brian and I are Apple people, I suppose.
We're Apple people, made from apples.
The Apple crash detection, you know, the thing if you fall real hard with your phone or your watch and it'll, report stuff. Well, anyway, it triggered, in this particular case, triggered 100 false alarms in a Japanese Alps emergency services thing. So check this out. This is emergency responders in Japan near skiing areas are troubled by the numerous crash detection alerts they are getting on the phone, on the iPhone 14.
Oh, sure.
According to Apple Insider, there's an influx of emergency calls at Japanese fire departments near skiing areas as iPhone 14 models are triggering false crash reports because people are wiping out on their skis.
Right. Even going off a jump, like going off a jump and landing probably could trigger it. I mean, who knows?
Yep.
Yeah.
So they're sending all these false things, and it got me to thinking, like, what's the solution here? Because I actually think it's a cool idea that it's there.
It is, yeah. Yeah. I think, and plus, here's the other thing. Like, if you run into a tree, that's a crash that you would, like, on skiing. So it's not like you can say, well, I'll just turn it off while I'm skiing, because you really still want that thing on in case there's a skiing emergency.
Right.
I don't know, man. What is the solution there?
Yeah, let's see. It goes on to say
maybe if it shows that you're still moving after the crash detection and saying, oh, okay, well, we'll give it a second. They're back up. They're moving, so it's fine.
Well, some of that stuff that you can obviously refine, right? But like here's the big problem here. It says a countdown will commence on the iPhone's user device on the interface with a siren, with a sound that will let the person say, hey, we think we detected a wipeout. If you didn't hit this, and it'll cancel it. So that exists, but the problem is you're skiing. You're covered in like 4 layers of coats and shit, and you're out in the nowhere, and you got maybe even headphones in. You don't hear this.
Yeah.
You don't know that it's going off.
Right.
So
You're not going to see. You're not going to feel that especially if it's in your pocket. You're not going to feel that it's going off. Elsie Knight says, "Would it go off while water skiing?" Well, yeah, probably would, but you probably shouldn't have your phone on you when you're water skiing.
Yeah, I mean, probably not. They're water resistant.
However,
but
if you're on a motorboat on choppy waters and you're like psh, psh, as you go through, that probably could even trigger it because it's some heavy, heavy smashing going on.
I don't know what the upper limit is. I wonder what the I guess you'd have to. Well, I guess wiping out on a ski slope and then getting up again is that's the answer. That is the.
I think so. Yeah, just before the countdown starts, see if. Give it a small amount of time, 4 or 5 seconds, and if the little blip starts moving again, or is even moving while it crashed and then it's moving immediately, then have it not do its crash protection thing.
Well, I don't know if anyone, I probably nobody in our chat, but I would just wonder if anyone can write in and say whether you had this ever go off. And if you did,
I'd be curious.
Yeah. If you did, what was the circumstances? Did you notice it and say, don't worry about it? Was it an actual emergency? We almost always get somebody who's had some experience with it. So I'd love to hear what happened to you guys. So let us know. In the meantime, we are going to take a break. When we come back, it'll be some time with Bill, which is an anagram for lib. Oh, I knew he was a liberal.
Oh, no. My gosh. See, that's look, you could do it. You could do it with Bill, man. He's
Yep. And Bobby, he's Boybo. Oh, Boybo.
Boybo.
I don't even want to tell you what the word science anagrams to. The patterns are real. Wake up, sheeple. Anyway, that's coming up after this break, which Brian will provide in the form of a song.
Yeah, let's go to Richmond, Virginia for this one. A band formed in 2013 called Keep. They're an alternative rock band and very influenced by 80s goth music as well as like shoegaze pop and grunge. Very, I get a big Stone Roses vibe from this. Some of the early Cure stuff. Hello, The Cure.
I love The Cure.
This is from the brand new album Happy in Here. This is the first single from the album. It is called Dasani Daydream. And
Ooh,
I guess he drank some water and had a daydream about it.
He's a big fan of Schleicher. He took his advice. I get it.
That's right. He's staying hydrated.
Yeah,
see?
it's fine. It's totally fine. All right, we'll play that song. We'll be back in a moment. Stay tuned.
How old are you?
I'm old.
You're not old! You're not even a person! You're a testicle!
No, I have no idea who you are, and I don't really give a damn.
The Morning Stream. Hey, that doesn't seem very loud at all, does it? Does it? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, Governor. Hello, Governor. Hello. That's better. Now that's a knife. Hello, Governor. Chip, chip, pip, pip, cheerio. And all that. Oh, jolly good. Oh, that'll put the shrimp on the barbie. I could go for a Foster's. Or I could go for a Foster's. Foster's. That's better. Hello. Hello.
You all right there? You okay? Does somebody need to reboot Fletcher?
Someone reboot Fletcher, and then write down the song that Brian talked about. Who is it again?
Oh, I can't remember after all that time. The song is by the band Keep from the brand new release Happy in Here. That is a song called Dasani Daydream.
Love it. It's a nice brand placement there in that song.
Yes, it is. Sponsored by Coca-Cola. Yeah. I had to look up and see if Dasani was another word for something, right? That Coke just kind of adopted. No, they actually came up with that name. It's a fake name created by.
Really, I didn't know that. They made it up. I would have sworn it was something real.
Dasani has no history in the English language prior to.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I learned something new. Good job, Coke.
Yeah.
They're always full of new information. So is this guy.
Your bat cave's open there, Bill.
Bill Duran, who calls his home and office the Pacific Northwest in a little company he calls punishprops.com, which you can find with any regular old-fashioned web browser. But you can also go to his YouTube channel at Punish Props on YouTube. Hey, Bill, welcome back to the show. How are you?
Hello. Good morning. I'm doing great.
Good. I'm glad because my maker week isn't complete. Neither is Brian's until you come on and tell us what the hell you're doing and inspire us fledgling makers that just look to you like some sort of god sitting on a hill with great information for us.
Wow.
Demigod at most.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
Then you're like to be humble.
You're like Hercules then. You know, not quite Zeus, not quite, one of those guys, but full on Hercules. Hey, that seems like an okay thing to be called.
Yes.
Anyway, Bill, what's going on today? I can't wait to feel creative.
How do you feel about ceramics?
Oh my gosh.
Your life is surrounded by ceramics, whether you know
Brian,
it or not.
didn't you have a wheel or something? Or am I thinking of I might be thinking of somebody else.
You're thinking of somebody else. I never had a wheel. You're asking me if I had a wheel?
Yeah, I thought you had a pottery wheel.
But that was the thing. My mom was really into pottery and stuff when I was a kid, so I would constantly be going with her to these places where she would be making pottery, and I can't remember if there was a wheel there, but probably I'm sure there had to be.
Yeah.
But it was fun as a kid. Haven't done much of it since. Did a class, but that's it.
Yeah, no, that's cool. Somebody we know, is it Red Fraggle? Maybe. Oh, that's right.
Oh, Red Fraggle absolutely does pottery because I'm helping her make a stamp for her pots.
That's right.
Oh, that's great. You're gonna 3D print that?
Yeah. It's like a little stamp that she can put on the bottom that's got her brand and stuff like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh yeah, and then someone's pointing out Bonnie Brushwood's been heavy into the ceramics lately.
Yeah, she is the arts and the farts over there. She kills it with her stuff. I love her work. So good.
They all got hooked on Ghost and thought, well, I'm going to
waiting for an erotic encounter with a ghost and
right, exactly.
Never quite comes.
It all starts.
Yeah,
everyone knows that's where pottery first began.
Yeah,
right,
Ghost.
Exactly.
It was invented by Patrick Swayze.
Yep.
Like so many things. Are you getting into it or what? What's going on over there with
So I have a friend who's been getting into it. So I've been talking about it a lot. But also my mom her major in college was ceramics, and she taught a lot of it as an art teacher. She's retired from teaching, but now she has a little pottery studio in my parents' barn. A cute little room with a pottery wheel and a kiln. So she's been doing a ton of that stuff. I have lots of bowls and mugs made by my mom, which is always really great. I'm going to pour a bowl of cereal into a bowl that my mom made.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really awesome.
It's very cool.
Very cool indeed. Yeah.
Also, I've mentioned this show before, but The Great Pottery Throwdown on HBO Max. It's like the Great British Bake Off meets pottery. So it's just delightful.
So very positive. Nobody's like, I didn't come here to make friends. I came here to win.
No. No, at the end, someone has to leave every episode, and they all cry and hug.
Oh. So it's like great. This is the British Bake Off method model. I prefer that so much. I wish more people would do that.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even turn on stuff that isn't like that. I just can't even do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm spent on it. So yeah, if you tell me that, I will. This is one I've actually been meaning to watch, and you've talked about it, I don't know, a dozen times. Haven't gotten around to it. Maybe finally, I get in there and watch that damn thing. Seems like it's good.
So as a hobby, ceramics is really, really fantastic because you only need clay. You could just buy some clay. That's all you need to get started. You can make stuff by hand. You don't have to use a pottery wheel or anything. You can just completely sculpt it by hand, literally with your fingers. You don't even need sculpting tools. Although I will say, once you go to a pottery store and you see all the really neat tools that they have, you're going to want to get all of them because they're neat and there's lots of them.
Nice.
But like I said, just getting started, super easy. You just need clay, and then you can let it dry at home. Let's say you make a little cereal bowl. Let it dry at home, and then to fire it, you can find a local ceramic studio that'll fire it for you. Now, I live near Seattle. I get it. I live near a big city. But there are at least 2 pottery studios within 10 minutes of my house.
Wow.
And there's more closer to Seattle. So you should be able to find a place that has a kiln that you pay them a couple bucks to fire your pieces.
I was gonna say it's pretty cheap because I've seen those where they can just fill the kiln to the hilt, and they wait until they have like enough stuff to run it, and then then it just like you say, just pennies on the dollar basically to get them get all of that put in there.
Yeah.
And then making friends with people at a ceramic studio is really great. Also, making stuff out of ceramics is great for gifts. Like I said, my mom has given me many, many things that she's made over the years. And if you do get into using a pottery wheel and you're going to make, like, let's say a series of mugs, you can sit at the wheel and just crank out a whole bunch of like the same mug for like a bunch of gifts for, like, if you want everyone in your family to get a mug for Christmas. You can do something like that.
Nice.
Yeah. Now, when you are ready, like I said, I mentioned the pottery wheel. You can level up to that when you're ready to either get the equipment yourself, or if you've got a local studio near you, it's very likely that they have classes and they'll let you use their equipment. The clay is cheap and pretty forgiving to work with, so you can get a lot of practice. And you will need a lot of practice to get the repetition and really get the hang of using something like a pottery wheel. But that's the fun. That's the fun of it. You get to be messy, Yep. You get to experiment. If it doesn't work out, you just lump the clay back up again, smash it down onto your wheel, and start over. So you get to have a lot of fun experimenting as you learn how to do it. And all of your early pieces that don't look very good, you just make those into gifts. You just give them away.
It's basically a candy dish or an ashtray for the person
who
doesn't smoke.
Ashtrays.
Yes. Totally. Yes.
Yeah. So over the summer, we were in visiting my parents, and Brittany got to get a personal pottery wheel lesson from my mom. So she got to make a whole bunch of stuff, and she did all the throwing, which is the term for sitting at the wheel and making a poorly shaped ashtray. That's called throwing.
Learned that the hard way. Yeah.
So she got to get a personalized lesson and make a bunch of stuff. And her first stuff obviously wasn't terribly great, but she left it all there, and my mom glazed and fired it for her and then mailed it to us. So we have a bunch of stuff that Brittany made here too.
Nice. What do you think about investing in your own oven or kiln? Do you think that's worth it?
I think you want to get to a point where you're making enough to make enough things consistently to justify it. However, if you have friends that are into it, and you could be the friend that fires everyone's stuff, or if you and a bunch of friends want to go in together on getting a kiln, that's probably a better option. They can be pretty pricey. They're big, heavy, and can be a little pricey. But if you're doing enough, then it's worth it. You just got it. You don't want to have a kiln that's just sitting there all the time.
Yeah. No, that makes sense, right? So have a little sub business. It's a little like, if you're going to own a 3D printer, maybe do like Brian, sell some stuff.
Yeah,
on,
maybe do.
Sure.
Yeah, still need to finish my Spotify. Or I keep calling it Spotify, my Shopify store. But
oh yeah, I was going to ask you about that. You made progress on that, I guess. Yeah.
No, I have not.
Oh.
I've been so busy with lifting and podcasting and having to change out the FEP and now potentially the LCD panel on my resin printer. Damn it, because there was a hole and stuff got actually hardened onto the glass. And I cannot scrape it off. I'm using a plastic razor blade and it's just not coming off.
Sure.
So replacing that anyway. But hoping to get that stuff on Shopify very soon.
Nice.
Someone in the chat pointed out there's a website called Kiln Share.
Oh, brilliant.
Makes finding or renting a kiln easy.
Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, kiln share. That's pretty cool. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
No, but I just always
it's an app like Uber or Lyft.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. You just you punch it in and then it shows kilns driving around your neighborhood and you
yeah. Whatever one's nearby.
Bill, did you ever use, so in high school we had this kiln, or I guess it was just an oven, or I guess it was a kiln, but basically we would sculpt in wax this horrible deep brown wax stuff that we would get.
Sure.
And we would create whatever item out of this wax, and then we would put it, how did this work? We put it in the oven and then the wax melted but left a shell. Maybe it was more like a...
Oh, you'd have to put it in a refractory, like plaster,
right?
First, right?
Yeah,
and
that must have been it.
Melt the wax out of that to make. It
must have been
mold.
it. It was more like a relief in the inside of it or whatever. Now we had a mold. Is that a thing that is fun to do today?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's not really a ceramics thing, but for casting, let's say bronze into a mold, that's how you would do it.
Right.
It's called lost wax casting.
Right.
And there's a bunch of different things you can cast that way.
Nice.
It's really good. But so the way that works, the mold itself gets destroyed with every use, so you'd have to remake it each time. So if you're going to make a bunch of those, you would make a silicone mold, and you would cast your wax copies out of that. So you can make as many as you want, and then those wax copies get put in the plaster and then baked out, and then cast metal into it. I'm thinking I haven't done that before, but I would really love to do that. Build a little forge to melt ingots of metal. I'm totally into that idea.
That's
Interesting.
cool. That's really cool.
We used to do so. Side story that I don't recommend this. You might get put in juvie for it. But we took some of that wax, which is the exact same color as bronze. It looked like finished bronze. If you just looked at it, you go, "Oh, that looks like a bronze thing." Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we had the bright idea of going down to this bank. So there's this bank that was near the high school that had a mascot or something outside. It was a statue, a bronze statue of this guy with his arms out and his legs kind of tucked down and a briefcase on one hand, and he was like a businessman flying. It was like some kind of bank thing. I don't know. Anyway, big giant life-size statue of this guy. So what we thought would be funny is if we got a bunch of that wax from the teacher and made a big old phallic-looking wiener with the stuff.
Yeah, of course you would.
Yep.
Because it's the same bronze as the statue.
Yep.
Yeah.
Took it down there, tried to make sure nobody was watching, and went shunk right between that guy's legs and ran. And that thing stayed there until, I don't know, about 3 days when the weather heated up and then it kind of melted down its leg. It was great. It was great. I don't regret it, but I'm not necessarily saying to the kids, go ahead and do that now, is what I'm saying. All right? Disclaimer. Disclaimer. You didn't hear it from me. Wow. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Bill, this all sounds great. I love it.
Yeah.
Let's make some pottery.
Oh, yeah. And the most fun part, I think, about the whole ceramics thing is you get to glaze it. So instead of paint, you use glazes that get brushed on and then get baked into it. And there are just countless types of glaze and finishing techniques that you can do. And they're really fun, and you get really neat effects that you can't get with paint.
Mm-hmm.
and mixing and matching them makes some pretty astonishing results. So that's part of the fun. Getting to experiment a lot with that is super, super fun.
Very cool. All right. Well, now you guys have your marching orders. Get out there and make some damn pottery. All right.
And it's a cool, fun thing to do with kids too. My mom did a little class for her grandkids. Got a bunch of clay. They all sculpted little things by hand, and then she took them home to fire them, and it's great.
Nice.
Good thing to do with your nephews.
Yeah. No, for real. That's great.
Cool.
I feel like there's still some things that my kids made when they were younger that they made, some pottery and stuff that we will never get rid of. We'll keep that stuff till the end of time. And it's amazing. So, yeah, especially with your kids, man. Get out there and make some cool stuff.
Mm-hmm. I still have this super cool guy that Amy made for us.
Oh, look at that. Yep. It's awesome.
Oh,
Candy
yeah.
dish. Yeah.
My daughter, when she was in junior high, they made she's such a nerd. I think it was junior high, and if Carter's listening, she can confirm, but she made a Colonel Ty bust.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was
that's
right around
cool.
the time BSG was at high school. She says, okay. It says BSG, and she loved it. And she made this Colonel Ty bust. It still sits outside in the garden like a gnome, just staring at people as they walk by.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I'll have to get a
Awesome.
picture of it. It's the weirdest. It's the weird sight when you come past our house, but we're not changing it. It's staying right there. Anyway, this is great. Bill, as always, the inspiration is real, and we also like it when you bring a little extra something. Did you bring something extra?
Sure did. Our pal Allie Spagnola made a ska song, so I have to talk about it. So Allie covered a Taylor Swift song as a ska cover, and it's with she got help by the guy from Ska Tune Networks.
Okay.
And he does a great job of explaining like how to make a ska sound, which is really fun.
Yeah.
And the song is obviously high energy and a really, really great time.
Yeah.
Well,
Because
that's what
Allie
she does.
Spagnola is high energy, so of course.
That's right.
Yeah. She doesn't know how to chill, to sit down
No,
and just
I
not
know.
do
Like,
anything. Yeah.
No downtime ever. It seems like for her, she's always doing something. And good on her.
Yeah, good on
Oh,
her.
yeah.
She's awesome. Go check that out. She is all over the YouTubes and the TikToks and everywhere else if you are looking for Allie Spagnola. Bill, it's always good talking to you, man. I hope your week is great, and whatever it is we talk about next week will be even cooler. Thanks for being with us.
Oh, yeah.
Bye
See you
now.
guys.
PunishProps.com, everybody. Chinbeard on Twitter. All the things.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, Brian, do you want to do science shit?
Science up. So we science up the joint.
All
I'm
right.
all for that idea. Love that idea.
Feels like everything around us is science.
It certainly can be explained with science.
That's right.
Why does my leg hurt? Science.
Yep. Also, I don't want to freak you people out at home, but look at this. If you mix up the letters in conservative, you get cave investor.
Oh, look
Yep.
at that.
If you mix up the letters in liberal, you get air bell.
Yep.
Wake up, sheeple! Wake up! All right. Let's get Bobby in it and make something happen. Here's his theme right here.
Science.
Science is right, and Bobby is also often right. He is here and not flying an airplane this morning, although maybe he did. I don't know. Bobby, welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm all right. Can you hear me? Do I sound all right?
Yeah, you
you
sound
you
fine.
just fine.
You sound great. Yeah. Were you?
All right.
Did you
I had,
change something?
I did not fly this morning. It got canceled, but I'm on a different backup mixer because the podcaster's worst nightmare happened to me.
Oh no!
No.
Oh no!
My
What happened?
mixer, something on the board blew.
Oh no!
Oh
And it
shoot.
That's a
stopped
rare thing, but-
working last night.
Let me tell you, you actually sound amazing. So I'm not here to
Yeah.
say that your old mixer sucked. I'm just saying the backup one sounds pretty good.
Your
You know how
backup
you've been
mixer
talking
sounds
about
great. Yeah.
you earlier. You were talking about how you made some settings changes.
Yeah.
I have to do the same thing with the old one. If I ordered a replacement, but I think I found out I'm gonna do some DIY electronics stuff. I think because I think I found the culprit. I'm sending you a picture.
Oh, please.
I opened up the mixer. It's this big mixer.
Oh wow.
And if you see there, for those listening at home, it's just a capacitor with some capacitors with a diode, and the diode.
Jeez. Yeah, I think I see
got
the
a
problem right
crack.
there.
Yeah, I think I see your issue. There's your
But
There's
it's
your
very-
problem.
I think you
very
blew a
unnerving.
diode.
Because if you see, I've got my mixer opened up.
That's hilarious. So just go to Radio Shack, buy a new diode, solder it in place, and you're fine.
Yeah.
Oh,
One
wait a
problem.
minute. Yeah.
Ain't got no gas. Ain't got
Can you
no
get parts
gas
like
in
that at Micro Center? Probably, right?
We don't have a
something like
Micro
that.
Center. I'm probably gonna have
Oh.
to go online and order one. And
Yeah.
I have like very amateurish experience with soldering. So,
Yeah.
but those larger components aren't that bad. So I'm gonna try. I've already ordered a replacement. It's an expensive mixer, so I would like to.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
I
if
would
you can
like
fix
that.
it, think of the things you could learn, and you just use a little solder, a little hot iron, you're good.
Yeah.
You know?
Amazon, I've got the backup, which I don't like because the reason I got the new mixer was because it made it so I didn't have to use a software solution to do the mix minus stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah.
And because I don't like all those, like whatever things, the Windows version of Audio Hijack.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, they're nightmares. They're awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, hardware solution for that stuff is great. On the Mac side, there's amazing stuff, but it's still, hardware's probably preferable across the board if you can. I get it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say though, I got to correct you because the actual worst nightmare of all podcasters is not this. This is a fine thing to be upset about. Don't get me wrong. You should fix it. But the ultimate is when you've recorded a 2-hour show and find out that both your main and backups didn't work, and so you recorded nothing. Now this has only happened to me twice in my entire quote unquote career. Once with an episode of The Instance, which we did the very next day. I hated it. I absolutely hated that episode.
Yes. Because there's so much great stuff you're thinking, oh, we're never going to be able to recreate this.
Yep. I hate it. Yeah. It's the worst. And then I did it recently with Kim on an episode of Skim, and there was same awful feelings, and I hated it. So 2 out of 5,000 ain't bad, but still, I don't like it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're right. That is the worst nightmare because redoing an episode is the worst feeling ever in podcasting. For those of you who don't podcast, imagine you had a dinner party.
Okay.
And you had a great conversation at dinner, and then your friend comes over, and you're like, "Oh, we really want you to hear this conversation. So, guys, let's have the conversation.
let's restage that exact conversation with all of the improvisational bits that we came up with at the time.
It's gonna feel dead.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
for sure.
No doubt about it. Well, it's good to have you here. We're going to talk about some science with Bobby, and I actually have no idea what you brought. So tell us what you brought.
So I wanted to talk about. Have you heard? There's this company, Colossal, that is. This has been in the science news a bunch. Is that this company, Colossal, has decided that they're going to de-extinct the dodo bird? Have you heard about that?
Oh yeah, I heard about this. I was talking to. My brain just went dead. Our sheep lady. I can't think of her name all of a sudden.
Oh, Nikki Ackerman.
Nikki, jeez. I was
Dr.
talking to
Nikki.
Nikki online about it, and I told her that I think it'd be cool if they somehow combined the dodo and the mammoth. And she said, now I want to see that drawn, and so I drew it. I drew it for her. So somewhere,
That's amazing.
somewhere in the internet exists a picture of a dodo with tusks, basically, is what I did there. But anyway, sorry. Continue on. They want to bring back the dodo. Do we really want to do that, though? Because it seemed like a dumb bird.
Well, I'm glad
right
you
there in
said
the
that.
name.
It's called the dodo bird, and it's become synonymous with dumb. But it actually, I think the reason for that is because I think its reputation was made by all the people who caused it to go extinct.
Okay.
You know what I mean? It's not a dumb bird. It lived in an island, the Mauritian Islands. It's off the coast of Madagascar in the Indian Ocean.
Sure.
And this was back in the 1500s when we discovered late 1500s when Europeans discovered that island. And like they often do, they brought a bunch of rats and other invasive species, and it just did a number on the dodo. But the dodo bird did not have any natural predators on the island where it lived.
Island. Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it would walk. There are tons of reports of it just walking right up to humans, not being afraid. They would hunt the bird for meat to eat it. And there were all these reports about how you could just walk right up to the bird and smack it in the head, and it was so easy to hunt. And I think that's how it got its reputation for being synonymous with kind of dumb, but it's not. It's sad. It's because the bird trusted us.
Yeah, had no reason. Well, apparently did have reason to to not trust us, but
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's
I always thought it was just because people thought of it as a dumb bird because we have been able to reconstruct it visually, and it has a look of I'm not a smart bird, and it's hard for me to.
It doesn't look any dumber than a platypus.
No, you're
Right,
absolutely right.
exactly.
That's my point. Is like we think, well, A, it's ugly or weird looking. B, it's extinct. Ergo, and it's called the dodo.
right.
Somehow,
Well, and I think us using the term dodo for dumb came after the bird, right? It wasn't that we said, "Oh, this bird looks dumb. Let's start calling it the dodo."
I think the etymology there. You're right, Brian.
Yeah.
I think because from what I understand, it's called the dodo bird because it comes from the Dutch for like dotard, which has to do with it's basically. I think the dodo part of it is supposed to describe the tuft of feathers on its rear end.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
wow.
But
It's the different word for tutu, basically.
Oh, I wish we could swap them. I've always felt this way, though. I wish we could take words like chair and swap it with something dumb. I don't know. Potato. So it's like, pull up a potato. We're having chair tonight. You know what I mean? Like, just to throw things
you
off
can
some.
do that if you want.
Oh, when I was a kid, I thought that was the greatest thing when I was a kid, is just to think of all the swapping I would do with words. For no reason. It's all dumb.
Quit trying to make potato happen, Scott.
Not in that context anyway, but anyway.
So they want to bring back. So one of the other problems with this bird, and one of the troubles that they're going to have with bringing it back, is that there are all these rats and deer and goats and stuff and pigs that they brought over that would eat the dodo's eggs, and dodo birds only lay one egg a year, or laid one egg a year. So when that makes it very vulnerable if a predator eats its eggs.
For sure, yeah.
And so it was very quick that it went extinct. It was like 50 years or something. It took.
It's almost like nature wanted it to go extinct. Like,
Sure feels like it.
Right.
yeah.
Anyway, so one interesting thing about this is how are they going to try to de-extinct it? It's a little bit different than how they're de-extincting. So this is the same company that wants to de-extinct the woolly mammoth you mentioned, Scott, and also the thylacine, or the Tasmanian tiger, was what they announced last year. I think I even talked about it on TMS. So this is like their 2023 announcement. I guess every year they're going to pick a new thing to try to de-extinct. But anyway, what they have to do is first they have to get a complete genome of the bird. And the way they do that is by extracting samples from extinct samples. They have it was only a few hundred. So there are birds that people would hunt and taxidermied and stuff like that. So they can get samples of the genes that way.
How old is it? I mean, age has a thing to do with this, right? So if you got something that's like 1 million years old and it's a single hair and was stuck in ice or something, is there enough there to do something?
So DNA absolutely does degrade over time.
Yeah.
So for a lot of reasons, one of the big things is sun exposure, which is why sometimes the woolly mammoth, when it's encased in ice, it's not as exposed to the sun. So that's why some of those samples survived for thousands and thousands of years. But if you've got a taxidermy dodo bird that's sitting next to a windowsill in a museum somewhere, it's going to have a lot of DNA degradation.
Sure.
So what they do is they take multiple samples and then they try to compare them and see, sort of like puzzle pieces, where this one has this piece missing, but it can be filled in by this one, and so on and so forth. And then you get as complete a genome as you can, and there will still be probably gaps. But what they do is they then look at the closest living relative and try, which is the Nicobar pigeon, which is very colorful.
That
pigeon.
sounds made up, but keep going.
And what they do is they look at the Nicobar pigeon and the gaps that they have in the dodo bird genome, and they try to ascertain what might have changed. Like, over time, what are the changes that would have happened in that missing fragment to lead to where it is now in the Nicobar pigeon, and they can work backwards and give their best educated guess on where it was back then.
Right. That makes sense. So
the next steps are the harder ones, though. But you have a question?
Well, I was going to ask you this because I am interested in those next steps. Real steps is what he might call them. No, what I would say is we're getting better. We're getting to the point where in all sorts of ways, we're getting better at extracting this old information and then using it to our whatever our needs are. Whether it's like Brian and I were talking about cold cases and the Tylenol murders and getting old DNA and saying, okay, well now we can do this at a much lower, more granular level. So let's do that. Those things make sense to me. The closer we get to, we're going to bring back a bird that doesn't exist. Boy, it feels like it just opens the door for people are already skeptical of science. Now they're going to jump on this whole bandwagon of, you can't play God.
God didn't want that bird to be around anymore, so why are you going against God?
Right, and I guess that's the point. Like I was reading about Galileo. That is the truth, by the way. I went down a deep Galileo hole the other day. Because,
Galileo?
Yeah, because Figaro.
That's what I was hoping, yeah. I was hoping you'd throw a few more Galileos back at me.
I probably should have. That song needs it. But I was reading this thing because I just wanted to understand more. We talk about him all the time, or you hear about him all the time and stuff. And I just thought, well, I don't personally know enough about the man. And that guy was like, just for suggesting that the opposite, the belief that the world or that the everything, including the sun, revolved around us. That the opposite was true, that we all revolve around the sun, and ergo, here's some new physics we understand or whatever. That got him thrown in jail. That got him shut down. That got him tortured. That got him treated like garbage. And I'm not saying today is the same as those times or anything, but it just feels like, you're asking for it a little bit. And I'm not saying we shouldn't. We should push it. I'm glad Galileo stuck to his guns and said, yeah, you guys are all full of horse shit. But you know what I mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Fortunately, we don't live back in those times anymore.
Well, that's good.
But scientists aren't deterred by this. Everything scientists do, they expect someone's going to tell them that they're, an abomination to God.
Yeah.
That's just the way it is nowadays. Vaccines, anything. But anyway, so what they have to do is they take that, once they've gotten a genome that they think is going to work, they grow it in an embryo. They use, in mammals, you use stem cells. Stem cells are like the cells that can turn into any other type of cell in your body.
Yeah.
And so with things like the thylacine or the woolly mammoth, they would take the genome and they'd put it into stem cells and then try to get it to differentiate and grow into an embryo. And then they would, implant that into some womb somewhere to get it to grow. Birds don't use stem cells. Birds are different in the way that they work. They use what are called, because they have eggs that get laid, right?
Right.
So with birds, they use what are called primordial germ cells, which are kind of like stem cells, but a little bit different. It's just, I don't fully understand it myself. I just know what they say is going to be a lot more complicated and it's not quite as proven. And so that's part of what they're trying to do here is figure out how do you do this kind of thing with a bird.
Right.
And that is why I think that this type of research is useful. So that's what people are talking about. Should they do it, right?
Right.
I don't think that there's a huge... With the woolly mammoth, there's a lot of question about whether you should do it or not. And that's because that's a very large animal and will likely, if you bring it back, wherever you put it, is going to have a very large impact on the environment.
Like the dinosaurs, like the Jurassic Parks have taught us, right?
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
The bigger they are, you bring this one thing. If you're we're gonna bring this flea back, although that's probably a bad idea too.
Oh, that's probably even worse. Yeah. Right.
Now that I think
Lose
about
control of that really quickly.
Yeah, but you gotta have a plan. If you're going to bring that back. And if the plan is to have one in a closed environment and that's all you ever did because you just want to study or whatever, and then eat it when you're done or whatever you do, what do you do?
and do all this work just to have one dodo bird that lives for a couple of years and then dies, doesn't lay any eggs because there's no opposite sex dodo birds to fertilize it. And
That's right.
You don't want
You
that.
do have to have a plan. You're right. And so with all these animals, they do talk about the plans. One of the plans they have for the dodo bird is they think that they're going to have to go to the island where it was native, the Mauritius, the Mauritian Islands, and say, like, basically remove all the invasive species that caused it to go extinct to begin with. And that's time consuming and maybe good for bringing back historically the undoing what colonialism did to that island and everything. And
Yeah.
but I don't even think you have to do that. Like there's lots of arguments against this, right?
Yeah.
Like couldn't that money be spent on other conservation efforts? And all this, but I don't think you need to answer all those questions. I think, first of all, I think the technology that you're going to learn from doing this is going to be useful in a lot of ways. It's going to be useful in helping us preserve currently existing. Like, we're going to need this stuff because we're already on the brink of causing currently living animals to go extinct. Wouldn't we like to know how to bring them back?
Yeah.
once
and
once that
much
happens?
easier to get their DNA and just kind of lock it in now,
Right.
so that if we do have a hard time rehabilitating the species, we can
Right.
start 3D printing our own new animals.
That's right.
Yeah.
You want your own white tiger? I got good news for you. I mean,
Exactly.
like,
yes.
and speaking of white tigers, why couldn't we spend a bunch of time on figuring out how to dupe those things? We do it with sheep already, right?
Sure.
As Nikki
Right,
would
sure.
inform us. And then if you did some white tiger or whatever those, I
know.
don't know if white
I've-
tigers are the thing.
I've
but
been to magic shows on the Strip. White tigers are disappearing at an alarming rate.
I mean, I know they're rare, but I don't know that they're endangered.
Yeah.
Maybe they are. Are they endangered? Would you know, Bobby? I don't know.
White tigers, I think yes. I'm pretty sure they're endangered. But your point is that currently endangered, species of animals that we like the giant panda, and they're a good example, I think, because we have so much trouble breeding them in captivity. Maybe this is a way that we could help with that. Diced tomato, is being diced tomato, but does ask, does raise an interesting question, which is, should we be preserving currently living animals? Isn't that the point of natural selection? The argument I would make is it, and this is not an easy question to answer. I'm not asking this question as a gotcha. Is it natural selection when we are causing them to go extinct? Some would argue that it is because we are a part of nature.
Yeah.
But some would argue that we have an ethical responsibility as like a part of nature with the ability to change, like with forward thinking and the cognitive abilities that we have and the ability to make tools and do science, like that we have an ethical responsibility to be better.
Yeah. The problem
than
is you're going to have
just-
someone's going to claim, well, it's a slippery, the slippery slope argument that one day you're preserving, the next day you're creating a race of super apes and they're going to kill everybody, like you get into that mindset and there's no.
Well, you're right. Some people think there's an arrogance to us trying to save things, and we're just going to, through our arrogance, cause even more problems.
Right.
That is quite the point of Jurassic Park, right?
Maybe maybe the answer isn't necessarily de-extincting lost animals. It's increasing the libido of the animals who are bad about reproducing in captivity.
Yeah, we just need to use our science brains to make panda Viagra.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes.
Nailed it.
Right.
Nailed it.
Pandagra.
When
the walls fell.
Yeah, when the walls fell. Oh man, that's great. I'm this stuff fascinates me just because I don't know. I guess as from a kid forward, there's always this dream of the Jurassic Park dream of like, hey, can we bring something like that back? Things we've never seen
animals. Before. Yeah, exactly.
And
I'm
that's
excited. I mean, if the mammoth thing works, it'd be really cool to see a mammoth.
I'd love to see it, but I also don't want to, wreck parts of the world because we brought a thing back and we shouldn't have. And I try not to be. You don't want to be Jeff Goldblum in every case, but
Yeah.
He has that famous line. It was a fictitious movie with a character, but he still said that line that kind of resonates, which was, we were so busy knowing or seeing if we could, we didn't think if we should, or however the way it's worded.
Yeah.
Do you think Jeff Goldblum, when he uttered that line, really realized that he would forever make it impossible for regular people to have serious ethical conversations without laughing?
invoking it? Yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah, it's a really good question. Probably not. I don't know. I mean, who knows? He was just reading it anyway. It's not really his deal.
Right.
I'm fascinated by this kind of stuff, though, because it leads to both interesting science and science fiction, and I like where my brain goes when that stuff happens.
Yep.
So it's always good to have this stuff on the show. Bobby, what's happening on your show? What sort of science are you guys talking about on All Around Science? Because you're around science, so what is it? What are you observing around it?
What am I observing around science? As you said, our show is All Around Science. We do that every week, talking about science. And this past week, we talked about clouds. You guys, of course, know Stephanie from Wisconsin. Stephanie of your pets.
Stephanie of your pets. Yep.
She every once in a while she sends us phone messages asking us questions, and she said she was in the car with her husband Kyle, and they were talking about clouds, and so we talked a bunch about clouds this week and how they're made and how they move, and learned about how to look at the clouds out your window and actually try to forecast the weather. There's a systematic way to do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool. Yeah.
Well, do check it out. It's a fantastic podcast, available wherever you find them. Bobby Frankenberger, I want you to have a great day. Sorry, I moved Brian's video and didn't mean to. Let's put him right back where he belongs. Let's see if this
is shaking.
It might crash. Let's find out. Nope. Wait.
Okay, good.
Did it? Nope. We're good. Woo!
Whoa, good thing.
It wasn't a very good goodbye, though. I feel bad about
nervous.
that. Yeah. Thank you, Bobby. It was awesome. As always, let us dive into this voicemail I promised earlier.
Okay.
This came from Senior Geek, a.k.a. Gary from Lantronics, a.k.a. Gary from Lot B, and Gary from, what's the new one? Where is he now?
Batu.
Oh, there you go. Batu.
Yeah.
He is got some important stuff to share with us about Vegas. Here you go.
Hey, this is for TMS. This is Gary, the Senior Geek. I was just listening to Coverville's story about having to walk the length of the strip, and reminded me of the last TMS Vegas. I was going to meet Kathy Hopkins at the oh man, good drugs. I was going to meet Kathy Hopkins at a bar, the Griffin, because I wanted to go someplace where I didn't have to have a poker machine in front of me. And I got down there before she did, and she kept texting me saying she was on the way. And in the meantime, I kept ordering beers, and I kept getting a shot with my beer. And I sort of lost count. I think I had about 4 beers and 4 shots. And at the end of the whole thing, I wound up, I stood up, and I was all right getting out of the bar, but it was a good thing there was a railing right outside because I nearly fell on my face. And so I sort of had to heel and toe all the way down the Fremont Street Experience to the plaza. But I made it back okay. And it turns out she was in the process of beating somebody up in the plaza bar. So sorry I missed that. But just thought you guys would enjoy that story. Doing very well, by the way, on the COVID. Thank you very much.
Good.
Bye.
I know he got the Paxlovid with this one.
He did, yeah, and he basically has been feeling fine, just like enough of a sniffle or something that he got checked and found out that he had COVID, but because of the vaccines, probably because he's had it before, also it was a much lighter symptoms than he had before.
You know what's cool though too is I don't know if this is cool. He said in a Facebook post that the HR people at Disney at the Disney parks asked him, are they? He said, I've got COVID again. They're like, okay, well, we have mandatory downtime. Don't worry about it. You're all good. Treating him well and everything. Yep. And then they said, standard procedure. Just need to find out where do you think you may have come in contact with it. And Gary's like, I work at Disney around 1 billion people. Are you kidding?
The happiest, what do you call it? The happiest virus factory on earth or something like that. Yeah.
That made me laugh so hard when I read that.
Oh,
That was
so
amazing.
Funny. Yeah.
Anyway, thanks, Gary, for that. Appreciate it. You guys are always welcome to send in your voicemails like Gary, 801-471-0462. And you can send in your emails like Jen, who is Say Nope to Dope normally in the chat room. But like Leslie Nope, which is kind of fun. Anyway.
Oh, that's cool. Even better.
The defib question about whether that Mexican place I found.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, we had a couple people. Bronco even wrote in about this.
Yeah, a few people have taken me to school about it because I didn't know these were like required at places, but apparently it is. Anyway, he says, I work for a fire department here in Colorado. Hey, Colorado connection.
Oh, Colorado connection.
Says, I wanted to send you a quick clarification on your conversation yesterday about the AEDs or defibrillators and fire extinguishers. Typically, AED requirements are made at the state level. For instance, many states require AEDs at schools and airports or airports. Both AEDs and fire extinguishers are only useful if they are accessible. Putting AEDs in a place where anyone, including patrons of a restaurant, can see it helps with the CPR/life support process. When you perform CPR, you are supposed to pick someone nearby to go find an AED while you find you do compressions. Keep the box visible, and you will help non-employee people find it. Also, fire extinguishers are required by code to be conspicuous, so they shouldn't be hidden or blocked. If they are tucked away in a closet or cabinet, there needs to be a sign indicating that location, depending on what code your jurisdiction has adopted. Hope that helps clear things up. Jen, it does.
Yeah, for sure.
A lot.
Because I was thinking about, all right, well, the employees who've been hastily trained on how to use this thing, as long as they know where it is, it's important. But I wasn't thinking about the fact that, no, it needs to be usable by random customers in case they're the only people who can get to it, or they can get to it faster than anybody else, which is like, oh, okay, so there's enough, like the instructions are minimal enough that with no training I could look at these pictograms and say, all right, I can save this person's life with 3,000 volts of electricity.
Right.
Yeah.
Or I can take it and run and put it on my burrito just to see what happens.
My burrito's cold. Let me grab that AED, please. Thank you.
Go clear, blam, and everyone gets like green sauce all over them. I don't know. Anyway, the other thing I was going to say about this is like I took a CPR class years and years ago. It's been a long time. I was CPR certified for a while.
Oh, wow.
Probably have to redo it now. But anyway, I did it because I was one of the leaders for a scout group. Anyway, long and the short of it is I do not remember them saying a thing about the AEDs or public locations or any of that. So I don't know if that's a new thing or if they just CPR certification doesn't require it, but you should know about it. Like it's just good knowledge or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, hope nobody ever has to use one.
Gosh, no kidding.
That's the lesson there. Jen sent that to our email address, which is themorningstream@gmail.com. So use that number, use that email, or text us if you want at that phone number as well. We'd be happy to read them on the show. Thank you, everybody who supports us on Patreon. Please keep that coming. With the single $1 a month, you gain access to all kinds of great content. And if you want to try out some of the other levels there, you'll get even more. So do check it out. You get pre-show content even today and every day. You get couch parties on the weekend. Oh, quick note about that. Couch party this weekend will be an hour earlier. So instead of 3 p.m., it'll be 2 p.m. I have a thing with Tom Merritt at our normal time. So to get our hour in, we got to push it a little bit. But anyway, it'll all work out. Art in the mail and other great benefits. Go check it out and read all about it at patreon.com/TMS. And giant kisses and thanks to everybody who already supports us over there. Smoochy. Brian, all other things, frogpants.com/TMS. That includes requesting songs, and you'll now hear an example of that from Brian Ibbett.
Yes, you will. This right here is an example of that very thing. Howdy, Sonata and Bolero. I've been listening to you guys since day one, and Scott, since I discovered the instance back in 06. You've helped me through countless hours of otherwise mind-numbing work at several different jobs through the years. I finally remembered to request a song for my birthday this year, though maybe too late. I'll be turning 33 on February 6th, but any day is fine for the request. I'd like to hear something jam band or jam adjacent, if you've got it. Widespread Panic, Grateful Dead, Fish, etc. Believe it or not, they're not all 25-minute meandering guitar solos. No, but they mostly are. The Pizza Tapes has some great Jerry Garcia bluegrass covers. I trust your judgment. Thanks a bunch. Love you guys. P.S. You still got scooters?
Oh, I do, but you have to hear this first.
Let's party.
All right, and then oh no, I still haven't done the scooters conversion. So instead, you're going to get Here.
Bad gay movies.
There you go. That's what you get.
There you go. By the way, went to trivia last night,
Yeah.
and I'm up at the bar paying for my cider, and a guy comes up and says, "How do I know you? I recognize you, but I can't figure out. Did I inspect your company?" I'm like, "Well, no, I don't really. I mean, my company never needs any inspection. I don't know. I do graphic design, web design. I've done Lyft for a while, do podcasting." He's like, "That's it. Oh my God, you're Brian Ibbett." And I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "I listen to you and Scott on TMS, or I used to listen on TMS when I was training for a marathon. I was stationed in Iraq and I was training for a marathon. And I was listening to you guys nonstop during that." So he
Oh,
wanted me to
wow.
pass
That's
on a
awesome.
thanks to you and a thanks to me for the hours of work. That was
That's
super-
great.
super
That's
cool.
I love when
Yeah.
that happens. That's awesome. Very cool.
Totally made me feel like a big shot at the bar too. Like, oh yes, oh thank you, yes, I'm recognized far and wide. Yes.
The
Anyway.
bartender turns around and goes, "This one's on us. This one's on the house,
Yeah, exactly.
Brian."
Oh, podcaster helping
Yeah.
people. Well, gosh, your cider's free, sir. Yeah.
Nope, doesn't work that way, folks. Sorry.
No, but shout out to Joe in case he's listening. Anyway, Jonathan's request, something jam band. Well, let's give you some jam band. Let's listen to some Panic, which I realized during a Lyft ride recently that in jam band circles, Panic refers to widespread panic and not Panic at the Disco, as I mistakenly replied to the passenger. Anyway. Here is Widespread Panic from their Jack-Asso-Lantern album from 2004, keeping the Rolling Stones rolling this week with a cover of Sympathy for the Devil.
See you guys tomorrow.
This show is part of the Frog Pants Network.
Frog Pants Network.
Get more shows like this at frogpants.com.
I can swim.
Yeah. Yeah.
What movie is that from?
I don't know. I don't know where that came from. I can swim?
Yeah.
I don't know, dude. I can't
Probably
find
Piranha 3D or whatever.
Yeah.
We watched.